I wanted to record this short little clip that I'm going to attach to the entire video to let you guys know that I'm still having problems with my laptop, so there is going to be distortion in my voice throughout the video that you're about to listen to. I could have redone the video, but I chose not to because I think that the content is pretty good, and I know I'll forget some of that stuff, so I didn't want to have to redo the whole thing. So please ignore the voice distortion. My voice will sound weird in some places, but then it'll clear up, and then it'll sound weird again in some places. So please try to ignore that. Thank you. Here's the video. Hi, you guys. This is Renata. I want to read a comment that was left for me on one of my videos and try to answer this lady's question, and hopefully something I say can be of help to her. I will say right off that I have taken a while to do this particular video. One of the reasons is that I wanted to kind of gather some thoughts and try to come up with some things that I thought would be useful for her, because this is a very serious subject matter in more ways than one. So hopefully something I say will be helpful to her and to others, because she's really going through a very difficult time right now. I do know that my notes are kind of all over the place, so hopefully I can create this video in a logical manner where people can understand it and make sense. But I'm just kind of all over the place, and the longer I take to try to put my notes together, it's just taking too long. So I'm just gonna go for it. Let me read her comments. She says, can you do a video about family betrayal? Because I'm a victim and my family betrayed me. She says, I just want to die. My family, neighbors, all became informants. My mom and sister sometimes are very good to me, and sometimes they do street theater, loud coughing, they slander me, etc. She says, I don't know if they are evil or not. She says, I am not a good daughter, but I never imagined my family would betray me. Now, why she says I'm not a good daughter, I'm not sure. Maybe she meant to say I am a good daughter. I'm not positive, but she says I am not a good daughter. But I never imagined my family would betray me. She says they just stare at me and it scares me. I'll give up already. I want to die, but yesterday when I attempted suicide with carbon monoxide, it did not succeed. Maybe suicide needs to take up courage to do that. And I think that this person, the English may not be their first language, but I'm not positive. I just want to die and to go somewhere where I need to rest in peace and no one stalking, betrayal, staring, or suffering anymore. I have no friends. Very, very, very sad. Very sad. Let me just show you that there is hope. There is hope, TIs. Don't give up. I know it gets difficult sometimes. It does. It gets difficult. Last week was particularly rough for me, but we have to get through this, okay? Stay strong, stay strong, stay strong, TIs. Please stay strong. Never, ever, ever commit or try to commit suicide, ma'am. I've been there. Okay, I have been there, and I don't even believe in suicide. But this program took me to such a dark place in the beginning before I knew anything about the targeting. Took me to such a dark place that I too have been where you are. I'm telling you, there is hope. Okay, you need to pray. You need to ask God to deliver you from those thoughts. You need to do your research, because a lot of times you are being hit with frequencies, suicide frequencies, and you may not even know it. On top of the targeting that you're dealing with, and the targeting in your family, and I'm sure the targeting in the community, okay? So please don't do it. If you do feel suicidal, and I know what I'm about to say is not popular with a lot of TIs, but I would suggest that you call the suicide hotline, because those people are trained to Well, they're supposed to be trained, and we know there's perpetrators everywhere. Hopefully, you would not come in contact with one if you happen to call. But when you're feeling that way, you need someone to talk you out of it in that moment. So please, I mean, I'd rather you be alive than not, okay? Do not let your family members or anyone get you to that point of suicide. I know what it feels like to want to give up. I know what it feels like to want to throw in the towel, but don't do it. Don't do it. I remember reading that private investigator's book. I can never think of that man's name. But when I first became targeted, first discovered my targeting, I should say, I ordered a bunch of books like most TIs do. David Lawson. And in his book, he says that when a gets a targeted person to go over the edge in any kind of way, when they get them to commit a crime, that'll get them put in jail, when they get their mind, that'll get them put in a mental institution, when they get them to commit suicide, someone gets promoted. Whoever was able to get you to go over the edge, they get promoted. Your handler. Okay? That's all it took for me, because I refuse. First of all, I don't believe in suicide. So just for me to have those thoughts tells me that something was working overtime in my mind, and it was them. It was all the stuff they were doing to me, and that is what is happening to you. So you have to find your reason to live. Okay. Number one, I was always told that if you commit suicide, you will not go to heaven, because you're not able to repent to ask God to forgive you for killing yourself. Now, I don't know how true that is, but because of my strong religious beliefs, that helped me not to do it. Okay, that was one of the things. The other thing is the David Lawson thing. The main thing for me, besides my religious beliefs, were my children. I do not want to leave my children here without guidance to go through all of this, because they too are targeted. So you have to find your reason. It could be a passion. It could be just because you know that you're here for a reason, and you know that you have a calling on your life, and you know that you have a purpose. It could be just because you're not going to let them do this to you. You know that you deserve to be here. Whatever your reason is, you need to find it. You need to find it, because you deserve to be here. How dare them do this to you? Okay, so let me see. Let me go back to what she said. She says that they're doing tactics, and that you're not sure if they're evil or not. They are evil, ma'am. And one of the things that we need to do is to come out of denial about our family members. Okay, we want to reason in our mind. We want to justify why they're doing things. We want to remember the good old days when we had fun with them and they treated us good and everything. But if things took a turn for the worse, and you say that they're doing staring, which is probably the same things that some of your perpetrators do who are not in your family. If you are sure that you're not paranoid, because sometimes that can creep in as well. If you're positive that you're not paranoid, and you know that your family members are doing these tactics on you, and you also say that you believe they're evil. Sometimes you think they're evil, sometimes they treat you good, sometimes they don't. If you are positive that they are involved in your targeting, you need to separate yourself. That can be very, very hard, because these are family members. For some reason, we feel obligated to family. Okay, I went through that same thing. I had to make the decision to separate myself, because I was no longer willing to allow them to treat me as the common perpetrator was treating me. They were doing the exact same types of things. And I observed it for quite a while, until it became very, very obvious. So I would also suggest that Stand back and just observe for a while, however long it takes you to be positive that they're involved in it. And once you're positive, you may need the steps to separate yourself. It's okay to love from a distance. I had to learn that because you have to take care of you. This is psychological warfare, and it's serious, and it's meant to harm you, and it's meant to bring you down, and it's meant to bring you all the way down, which it sounds like it got you to that point of feeling like you wanted to take your own life, which you should never do. I want to reiterate that again. You should never harm yourself, and you should never harm anyone else. And if there are elements in your life that is pushing you that way, then you need to get those elements out of your life so that you can become more stable. Because this whole program is meant to destabilize all of us. And it is meant to push us over the edge, not to the edge, but over the edge. Okay, so whatever you need to do to get those elements out of your life, that's what you need to do. Now, it sounds like you live with them, but I'm not positive. You didn't say that. But reading into your email, it sounds like either you live with them or you're around them a lot. Excuse me. If you live with them, I would advise that you get on your feet as soon as you possibly can. Because when you are dependent on other people for your livelihood, for a place to live, financially dependent on someone, you're at their mercy. You are at their mercy. You are kind of in a position where you're forced to put up with whatever they're issuing out to you because you live with them, or because they're taking care of you financially. They're feeding you. They're driving you where you need to go. They're paying for this and they're paying for that. So do what you can do to get yourself financially stable. If you're not, I mean, you may be. I don't know. You didn't say all that, so I'm just throwing it out there for anyone listening. But get yourself in the best position you possibly can so you do not have to put up with this. Maybe you can rent a room somewhere. Maybe you can stay with someone who will possibly treat you a little better. There are other TIs in the community looking for roommates. Maybe you can try to network with someone and find out who those people are. Just do what you can. Do what you can to get yourself in a better position so you do not have to deal with these people doing this to you. Now, I also want to say, as far as the tactics go, you said they're staring at you and they're doing things like that. Develop a thick skin when it comes to the tactics, okay? Pay no attention. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but with practice, you'll be able to do it. Pay no attention. Act like you don't see them when they're sitting there staring. Do something else. Just don't even pay attention to it. Develop a thick skin. And until you get to that point, fake it until you make it. Act like it doesn't bother you. That's what that means. Fake it until you make it. Act like it doesn't bother you. Just act like it doesn't bother you. And eventually it won't bother you. Because you know what they're doing. You know these are tactics. You know these are designed to affect you. You know it is designed to trigger you. So simply don't let it. Again, easier said than done. But practice. Keep practicing it. Just pretend like it doesn't bother you. Just pretend. Try that for a week or so. Everything they do, just pretend that it doesn't bother you. If you do live in the house with them and you must be around them for whatever reason, or maybe you don't live with them, but you stop by or they stop by your house or whatever, just distance yourself. Be nice, be cordial. If you have to go to family functions or whatever, be nice, be cordial, but just distance yourself. Be there, smile when you need to smile, all that phony stuff, which is very hard to do, but just get through it. If you have to live with them, get through it until you can get yourself in a better position to where you don't have to deal with that anymore. Support. You definitely need support. I do have a conference call. I will put that information in the comment section. You are welcome to come. I'm almost thinking that you might be in another country. I'm not sure. but there are archives there. You can listen to the archives. It would be really good if you could get support. I have no idea where you live. If you send me an email, I'll put my email address in the comment section of this video, and if I know anyone where you live, I will forward your email if you like, or I'll try to give you theirs. But support is very, very important. It sounds like you listen to a lot of videos because you've commented on more than one of my videos. So continue listening to videos. There's a bunch of good videos out here. Even besides TI videos, listen to other videos that will help you to build whatever it is you need to build up in you. For each of us, it's going to be something different. But there's a lot of therapists that put videos out on YouTube and that have blogs. If you feel like you're dealing with fear because you said that when they stare at you, it makes you afraid, so look at videos that deal with fear. Read blogs that deal with fear. Do whatever you have to do to get yourself in a stronger place. Build your relationship with God. Definitely build your relationship with God, because God will give you courage. He will give you anything that you're lacking. He will give you wisdom on how to deal with this particular situation, because again, we're not talking about just the average perpetrator on the street. We're talking about family. And it's really hard to deal with family, because the dynamics of family is much different than the dynamics of friends. Okay, and just to say something on the whole friend thing, one thing about family is that we don't get to pick them. Okay, we were born into this with them, so that's probably why we feel so obligated to them. But we get to pick our friends, so try to find some friends, even if it's not people in the TI community. There are nice people out there. They want us to think that they're not. If you happen to meet someone at a coffee shop, or at a festival, or wherever you may meet someone, take it for what it's worth. Enjoy the person. If it's someone you're compatible with, hang out with them. If at some point they turn, because reality is a lot of people will turn on us. If at some point they turn, then do what you have to do. Separate yourself from them as well. But as I said, take it for what it's worth. Try to connect with someone. We need people. Try. Okay? Sometimes friends will be more loyal than family. So see what you can do about, trying to network with someone. Join some sort of group or whatever your interest is. If you like to swim, maybe go to the gym and swim. If you like to sew, look for a sewing circle. Try to get around people. And if you do live in the house with your family members, try to get out of the house as much as possible. Try to become as independent from them as you possibly can, because you truly believe that they're in on your targeting. And if anyone is in on your targeting, if they're trying to sabotage you, if they're trying to cause any kind of conflict, if they're affecting your self-esteem by talking down to you or putting you down, or when you need a listening ear or some sort of help and they're not there to do it, that's toxic behavior, whether it's a friend or a family member. Sometimes we may connect with a particular friend and they do the same thing. You have to know when to cut people off, and you're okay with that. You have to be okay with that. It's an adult decision that you have to make for yourself. That you have to know your worth. You have to know that I deserve to be treated better than that. I don't care what your title is. I don't care if your title is parent, if your title is sibling, aunt, cousin. It doesn't matter. Friend, it doesn't matter. You've got to take care of you. This is war on you. This is some serious stuff we're dealing with. This is not just any old type of betrayal. This is betrayal plus, trying to bring you down. It's not just someone turning their back on you. It is people actually trying to harm you psychologically or whatever type of way. Sometimes even worse than psychologically. So you have to take care of yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. It's about you. You take care of you, whatever you need to do that. No one should get you to the point of suicide, of harming yourself. No one should get you to the point of harming others. And I'm not saying that you would harm others. I'm saying for anybody. We hear this stuff in the news all the time because people go over the edge. You've got to process this. You've got to talk about it if you're that type of person. I know I like to talk about mine. Create videos. Do a blog. Do something to get what you're experiencing out, to be able to express yourself. Do something to get it out. If they don't want to hear it, if they want to tell you you're crazy, because you mentioned that in here too, that your mom tries to tell you that you're crazy, you know better than that. No one should be able to put in your head that you are crazy, that you are mentally ill. But at the same time, with that being said, if you are doing things like trying to commit suicide, I think you said carbon monoxide poison. Let me see, I got to go back. However you tried to do it, you can be deemed mentally ill just for doing that. You shouldn't do that because you are buying into their hand. When you do things like that, trying to harm yourself, it's going to be easy for your family to say, she's really mentally ill. We need to put her away, or we need to put him away. That's a sign of mental illness when you're trying to harm yourself or you're trying to harm others. So don't do that. You're playing into their hand. You know mentally ill. So walk around with confidence. Walk around knowing who you are. If you know you're not mentally ill, that's the way you move. That's how you walk around. You're not mentally ill. When they tell you that, keep it moving. Don't even listen. In one ear, out the other. Because you know who you are. So going back to when I said look at different videos, look at videos that will help you to build your self-esteem, because our self-esteem gets torn down in the process of this targeting. So you have to invest a lot into yourself. I try to invest a lot into myself. I try to look at a lot of videos and read a lot of blogs and a lot of books on subjects where I know I need building up. Increase your prayer life if you do not have one. I don't know if you have one or not, but increase your prayer life, do positive affirmations. There's so many things that we have to do to stay above board when we're dealing with this, because this is psychological warfare. A lot coming at us. Computers, all kind of technology, perpetrators from every direction, depending on, I don't know if you get the stalking or not, but you said your family members are doing all these gestures and all this stuff. So I would assume that you are getting the organized stalking. So you've got to take care of yourself. You really, really, really do. Going back to what I said about separating yourself, sometimes you have to make the hard decision to move on. Sometimes we have to go through this life on our own. Unfortunately, it's very, very lonely. It's very isolating. We need people. We should not have to go through the things that we go through alone. If this same thing happened to our family members, we would be there for support. We would support them. Most of us would. But we're not getting that. Most of us, I mean, I've talked to some targets, they do have support from their family members. So if you do, thank God that you do. But a lot of us don't. And some people had support in the beginning from their family members, but then the family members flipped the script. So whatever your situation is, it is what it is. That is a very loaded statement. I'm sure everybody has heard that statement. It is what it is. That's a loaded statement because it's truth. It is what it is. This is what it is. Your family members are not supportive at the very least, okay? Let's just say you're not even sure if they're involved. They're not supportive. That's what it is. What are you going to do? We cannot buy into the victim mentality. Okay, we know what it is. I know what it is in my family members. It took me a while. I observed for a while. I am positive, 100% positive, that most of my family members and used to be friends are involved in my targeting. Hurtful, very hurtful, but that's what it is. I can either be in denial about it, or I can deal with it and move on. And I choose to deal with it, feel the pain, feel the hurt that comes along with it, feel the disappointment, feel all of that, but continue to stand and continue to go on with my life. That's what I have to do. That's what you have to do. It's either that or you'll be where you are feeling suicidal. I've been there, that feeling. I don't believe in committing suicide. I am not suicidal at this moment. Let me make that clear for whoever would listen to this video, because you know how they do with that. No, not suicidal. Never will be again. Never plan to be. But I know how this program can have us if we do not indulge in self-care. So please take care of yourself, ma'am. Do what you have to do to get on your feet. You really, really, really need to get out of that house if you're living there and it sounds like more than one person is involved in your targeting. If they're doing the same things to you that the people on the street are doing to you, the perpetrators, then that's not a good situation. And you're for yourself. If no one else takes care of you, you have to take care of yourself. Okay? Put yourself first, because you have to take care of you. They're obviously not going to do it. Okay, so get yourself in the strongest position that you possibly can, so that you can get rid of those suicidal thoughts. And actually, it's really scary for me reading your comments, because yours was not only suicidal thoughts, but you actually took action to try to commit suicide, and that's never good. So again, it's not popular in the TI community to call the suicidal hotline, because they say that they'll send someone for you. I would rather you be alive, okay? So if that's what you need to do, or if you have someone that you're close to that you can reach out to when you're feeling suicidal, then please reach out to them. But you said that you don't have anyone, so that's why I'm saying call for help. Call for help. I don't care what anybody says, because we do not want another targeted person dead at the hands of this program. It's ridiculous. No, they don't get to take your life from you. They didn't give your life to you, and they should not be able to take it from you. Okay, so please don't do that, please. As far as knowing for sure whether, well, I won't even say knowing for sure, but some of the signs where that might help you to determine whether your family members, friends, or whoever is involved in your targeting, you might want to listen to the video that I did on how to spot a perpetrator. I did that, I think, last year. But that will help you to kind of try to figure it out a little bit. One of the main things that all of us need to know is the signs of deception, because every single perpetrator is a liar, okay? And that's what deception is, trying to deceive you. So if you learn the signs of deception, that's another thing that you can research while you're doing your research. But learn the signs of deception. Just help you to kind of know who's who and what's what, okay? I really hope that this video will help you. I really, really, really do. And it sounds like not a good situation that you're in. I will pray for you. Just know that the Bible talked about this. We shouldn't think that any of this is strange, because the Bible told us that this would happen. And it is not only happening to you, it's happening to many, many targets. A lot of people are dealing with betrayal in the family. So I really look up for you. I hope that you get stronger. Being around toxic people like that it's hard to get strong. That's another reason why it's best to separate yourself. So again, if you live with them, try to get out during the day so you're not dealing with that negative energy all day. It's best to kind of get separate as much as you can. So if you live with them, go out during the day, pick up a hobby, walk around, go to coffee shops. I don't know what you enjoy doing, but whatever you enjoy doing. It will also help you to get strong just to be out there if you get the organized stalking, because you'll be out there dealing with the perpetrators. But that's okay. Do it anyway. Never let anything you do, um that's not what I'm trying to say. Never base any of your decisions for your life off of the perpetrators. In other words, don't say to yourself, I would like to go out for coffee, but I'm not going to go because I know that they're going to be out there. They're going to be targeting me. I hear that kind of stuff all the time. Don't base your decisions off of them. Do whatever you want to do. You have to live a life of courage. You have to be brave. That's how you get strong. For the lady who asked me how to get strong, how I got strong, and I'm still not at the strength level I would like to be, um, because there's a lot coming against me, just like it is all the other TI. So I have a long way to go in the strength department. But the Lord has really brought me a long way, much further than I was with all of this. And one of the things I can say for sure is that we have to live a life of courage. We really do. You have to go forward with your life. Do not let them influence any decision you make in your life. If you want to do something, you do it. And you deal with the targeting. If that's what you must do, you deal with it when you need to deal with it. You cross that bridge when you get to it. But don't base your decisions off of it. If you want to go somewhere, if you want to do something, if you want to try something new, if you want to meet someone, then just go about your life as normal as you possibly can. And if there's something that you need to deal with, you deal with it. That's how you get stronger. So I don't want to go on too long. This is already over 30 minutes. So I hope that this helps, ma'am. And I'm sorry I took so long to create the video for you. And I really hope that your situation gets better. So just try to get stronger every day and pray and ask God for strength.